he said this, Lee
instead of
took
doing
it
like a
as if
stream,
Moon was
instead of
criticizing
using
him for
Restream and all
being
that,
too drunk.
I decided
And he felt
to-
really offended because in his mind, he had just put on this great date and made this great first impression on Moon's parents, and here she is kind of nagging him. And so Lee just kind of blew his lid, and the couple got in this horrible yelling fight in the parking garage, which ended with Lee telling Moon that their relationship was now over, and then Lee turned around and stormed off to hail a cab by himself. And after he was gone, Moon just stood there next to Lee's car, being totally shocked at what had just happened. And then kind of in a daze, she went and hailed a cab herself and went home, and then she just laid in bed and cried until she went to sleep. But Moon was not heartbroken for long, because the next morning, when Moon woke up, she heard a knock on the front door, and when she opened it up, there was a delivery guy with this huge, beautiful bouquet of roses for Moon. And so Moon took these roses and quickly found a card attached to the roses. She opened it up, and there was a letter from Lee saying, please accept these roses as a part of my apology. Last night didn't go so well. I'm really sorry. Please come to dinner with me tonight. Moon was so relieved to get this apology letter that she called Lee right away and said, you know what, I do forgive you. It's all water under the bridge. You know, my parents, they loved you and they have no idea about that fight we had. So let's just put it behind us and just continue being boyfriend and girlfriend. And at this point, it was Lee's turn to be totally relieved because he didn't know if Moon would want him back. But they were back together, and that night they went out for a fancy dinner together, and then also Lee had booked a very fancy hotel room that night for them to stay in. And this is really how their relationship went for the next couple of days. Basically, Lee would take Moon out shopping anywhere she wanted to go. They went to all the best restaurants and stayed in the best hotels. To Moon, it was obvious that Lee was really just continuing to shower her with gifts and praise and all these fun things to still try to make up for that big fight they got into, even though Moon really had forgiven him. And at some point, after several days of being treated like a princess by Lee, Moon finally told Lee, stop buying me stuff, it's fine, I totally forgive you, everything is good. But Lee insisted that he be allowed to continue to spoil her. After all, it was the Christmas season, and she deserved to be spoiled around Christmas. So in South Korea, Christmas is celebrated a bit differently than it is in Western countries like America. In South Korea, Christmas is a big holiday, but it's really just a holiday for couples. It's not really a family occasion. So in South Korea, on Christmas, lots of couples will go out on these fancy dates, and so that's kind of how they celebrate Christmas. Whereas, in Western countries like America, it's all about family and waking up and getting presents from Santa Claus. So that's the difference. Western is family-centric, and in South Korea, it's very couple-centric. It's kind of like Valentine's Day in the winter. So, on Christmas Eve, Lee told Moon that he had a very special dinner planned for Christmas, and would Moon mind coming over to Lee's apartment on Christmas morning to feed his cats and his dog, because Lee was going to be out running errands in preparation for this big Christmas dinner. And of course, Moon said she would. So, at around 11 a.m. on Christmas Day, Moon hopped off the elevator inside of Lee's apartment building and began walking down the hall towards his door, carrying the key to his door. But as Moon walked closer and closer to Lee's door, she began smelling this really powerful smell. It smelled like roses. And for a second, Moon thought to herself, oh my goodness, this whole thing was a setup. I'm not here to feed his pets. I'm here because he must have planned some really elaborate thing for Christmas Day for right now. And probably it has to do with lots of roses inside of his apartment. And so Moon was really excited by the time she got out front of Lee's apartment door, but before she used her key to open it up and just go in, she decided she would just call out for Lee, because she figured at this point, he's got to be in there. He knows I'm about to be surprised by this big thing. And so she calls out for Lee, but there's no answer. And so she knocks a couple of times to see if maybe she can get Lee to come to the door, but after knocking several times, there was no answer. So eventually, Moon used her key, she opened up the door, she swung it open, and she stepped inside of Lee's apartment, expecting to be wowed by whatever Lee had planned. But instead, when she looked around...
I'll be right back, guys. I'll be getting something, and I'll be right back. Hey, bro. Hey, bro, when you're done with your live stream, could you please get them over to my live stream I'm doing of Red Dead?
Wait, what?
There's not an alien spaceship. I'm not an alien. Well, in a way, I am, since I'm not from your planet. Relics? Oh, so it's another word for recipe.
Alright guys, I'm back.
She couldn't really understand what she was even seeing. Lee was nowhere to be found, but there were roses all over the apartment. However, these were not new roses. These were like several days old.
Someone like you.
Of course. Who are they?
Let me see. Chick Matthews works at Guthrie Farm. He's a hand,
That's
I
all?
believe. Mr. Roble, the small holder at Painted Sky, runs the operations there.
Wouldn't that mean I'm a
Miss
genius
Lily
of all
Millet
relics?
is a ranch maid up at Emerald Ranch.
And here was me believing Dutch's bluster about us helping folk.
It's legal work, Mr. Morgan. Debtors belong in prison. We are doing them a favor.
Aye. I'll make sure they see it in them terms.
Put the debts in the deed box and try not to kill them. It's very bad for business.
I just miss him so much.
Of course you do. Goes without saying.
What am I gonna do?
I'm gonna go over there once I'm done with this filming thing.
You're gonna suffer.
Good morning, Arthur.
Life can go on. That's the truth of it. I won't lie to you.
Miss Roberts.
I know.
Where am I gonna go?
Stay here with us. Folk, they ain't so bad. It's nasty out there on your own.
I know.
Arthur Morgan being an actual dude.
At least for now. Till you're back on your feet properly.
Thank you.
Of course. How are you?
It won't let me
Well,
for
that's
some
good,
reason.
I
I guess we're
suppose.
going to here. Oh, the birds train rush.
Smells delightful, Mr. Pearson.
It'll be ready when it's ready.
They're getting hungry, Mr. Morgan.
Who is?
The people you haven't fed.
Me? When did that become my job?
Others are pulling their weight.
Ah, give it a rest, will you?
Okay.
Well, come on, there's a whole bunch of chickens here. How about they get slaughtered?
Can I lick your plate when you're done?
It's all so expensive. I can't get anything. Huh?
The very reason why I named this horse this way is because his stats were complete just... This horse is just complete, just bark compared to the other two available ones. You guys will know what I'm talking about if you were to go on to... In fact, let me just tell people that know me on Discord that I am live.
So I can't leave.
Alright, guys, I added to make sure it was known to someone's Discord server that I'm an administrator and that I'm live. Come on, Horsey! Come on, gotta give it some juice.
I have no idea what I'm supposed to do.
Mister. Yep. Easy now.
It's just a box. It's just a box. Stop being a voicey voice.
Am I supposed to drag that down some way? What's up, Rain Codex? How you doing? I seriously have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing.
Knock, knock, Mr. Robe.
No przepraszam, co pan robi w moim domu?
Like, it won't let me leave
God
here.
damn it.
And it won't let me go through here.
No przepraszam, co pan robi w moim domu?
Kim jesteś?
I'm here on behalf of Leopold Strauss. Where's our money?
Leopold Strauss. Nie mam pieniędzy.
God damn it, you don't speak English, do you? Now, you remember where you're keeping that silver?
Potrzebuję trochę czasu,
What am I
znajdę ci
supposed to be
pieniądze.
doing?
Oh, still don't understand you. Where is the money? Gold, dollars.
Nie rób tego. I have nothing. Przestań.
It will run late if there's
Just
no one can tell me how the fuck I can get through this.
No, 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 no. Please, no. Don't have money, but I have this. It's good. It's good. It's valuable. It's Warszawa, yes.
I have your things, okay? I have anything in here or out there.
Yes.
Better be
Yeah,
something
there's nothing
somewhere.
nearby. Did I break something?
It's very valuable. Good?
Not good yet.
Yeah, we'll have to be looking throughout this place too.
I'm gonna restart it just in
No,
case.
no.
Yes, 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 yes.
Nie rób tego! I must eat, proszę!
Okay, that should about cover things.
Am I supposed to go to the fucking bedroom? Bro, that's his way of saying, dude, you can't go on until you go there. Like, fine. contractual obligations.
Obviously, he's trying to cover up, but Jordan may have something really.
Ooh.
I'm searching and clean this place out.
I do want to make sure I finish off the previous plan before going to the next one, though. And 2.0 or 1.7, like I said, are you going to put for Sparkle and Black Spawn? Depends on what, how their gameplay is shown. So I'm pretty sure it's 2.0, because you know in Genshin Impact, when like a new area is open for like a major story. Like when it comes out to a big story lore, then like a new area is added on if it needs a new area. And it seems like they're gonna be doing that soon. So I think it says they've been adding on to Belobog and to Sanshou Loku. And now they're finally getting down to the Hero Space Station. I think that there won't be a 1.7, I think that it's going to be a 2.0.
Yep.
Oh, it's saying I'm missing a key. I don't know, I won't be able to.
So yeah, once I'm done with this mission, I will be switching to go. I won't be switching games. I'll just be switching to going to to the ones that were middle and getting the best first.
I'm guessing I have to literally go through here. I have to go through a lot of the other world until I get something that can help me out. So let me see.
Hey, Volko. Are we having cheap gun
Hey,
or big gun?
who's there?
I don't know.
I know we got chicken in you.
Hey, yo, it's my man.
Hello. Hey, what's that horse doing
It's all
here?
good. Calm
Would you
down.
at least try to make an effort with
Yep.
the boy?
Yeah,
Phil,
I'm too
shut
broke
you
for
up.
you right now, though.
I'll try. My father ain't nothing I
Mr.
know
Morgan,
about.
here's the
Yes,
head.
Miss Grimshaw.
Sounds like you ain't a
Mr.
selfish,
Matthews gave me a
bloodthirsty
message for you. He
You mean
said
what?
when it was convenient to head into Emerald Ranch. He's looking at a few business things there.
Okay.
Oh, he'll find something too. He always does. Will you be well now, Mr. Morgan?
I'm always well, Miss Grimshaw.
Don't think this is talking, Encore. They'll be chasing you. What?
Hey, Arthur. What you want? One sour son of a bitch, ain't you?
Only when I see you.
Only when I see you. How are you holding up?
Are you sure about that?
Ah! Wow, apparently there's an achievement for that.
I'm gonna read the details though. Oh. Find Subcon village, murder the spirits.
Now it said before that there's a certain kind of horse that so far may not be on any kind of stable that you have to find your own that is apparently, I guess, one of the best horses within this game. Oh, return to... Don't tell me. Don't... Oh, please. Oh, wait. I think I know why.
You're not fine.
Okay. Alright. So, let's hear.
You feel extremely empty inside. Really? Well, oh, so it is in the star menu. Also, I can give enemies 100% to defend reduction to enemies. So the box one can give enemies 100% defense reduction.
How did you get on, Herr Morgan?
So,
Called in on the small holder, Global.
Stronger.
Didn't even speak English.
Good, very good.
My pleasure.
Well, if it's pleasure you're after, there is one other. This farmer preacher fellow I met in Valentine, Mr. Downs.
The opinionated little do-gooder? Yeah, I know the one. I certainly know the type.
Thank you, Herr Morgan.
There's no need to thank me. Like you said, it's pleasure I'm after.
He's more slippery than he seems. I've tried being polite. Don't take any nonsense.
Nonsense? Me?
If he doesn't have the money, beat him.
Well, I usually do.
I know. I know.
Interesting.
Help me.
So now we're gonna go trailblazing to find...
Speak to them for me.
So we're getting on to the next person to collect the death from, but first let's get a better horse. And that one is pretty much barred unless it's all... The only time it's valuable is that if you really just don't feel to get, grab a whole bunch of, whatever kind of money they can get as best you can to get something better. That's why I call this horse barter.
Miss Karen, all good?
So I need something to explode that. Oh wait. First try. Yeah, we get a portrait.
Yeah.
Many of them were wilted and the petals were starting to fall off, and the water that all these roses were sitting in was very dirty. But really, there were like vases of roses everywhere on every surface. And right away, Moon started to feel really
Guys,
uneasy.
I'm
It
gonna
was
go
like very creepy to be in this dark apartment where no one's inside of, with just these weird flowers everywhere. And so without going any further into the apartment, Moon once again yelled out for Lee in hopes that maybe he was here, but again, he didn't.
Hey, can you get some painkillers for my eye?
Don't wait all
They give enemies fake
Hey, how
cards
about
that deal
how about
additional
blink your
damage.
close your
Interesting.
eyes? There you go, 2. You're welcome, but
Oh damn.
How does everyone feel like pizza? Does everyone feel about pizza?
Like Dad say, it doesn't matter what we have. It's something.
Well, because usually I like something that easily slides in.
Oh yeah, sure. Oh, come on. Such interesting pictures. They have like 3D abilities.
That'll be dull once the thing gets run up. I got.
Damn. Clean the subcombo. Alrighty then. Indeed. Into the manor, find what's in the attic. Follow the parts of the forest. And explore. I'll be keeping the pony hostage. Deliver packages. You know, I think I like this one. I like driving.
Alright guys, I am back. Repeat, I am back.
Damn, bro.
Just had to get up and do some things. But yes, I am definitely back.
He didn't come out of any of the rooms, so she knows she's alone. And so she called Lee on his phone to try to get an explanation for what she was looking at. But Lee didn't answer his phone. By this point, Lee's 3 cats were circling around Moon's legs because they were eager to be fed, and so Moon kind of stopped thinking about this strange flower situation and looked over at the cats' bowls and saw there was no dry food. They had eaten all of their food. And so Moon began walking over to the bowls when she realized Lee had not told her where he kept the cat food, and so she had no idea where it was. So Moon began opening all the kitchen cabinets, hoping to find this cat food somewhere, but she didn't, and so eventually she left the kitchen and she walked down this hallway inside of the apartment, and she found there was a skinny closet in the hallway that looked like a place where you would store cleaning supplies and vacuums and that sort of thing. So she reached down and tried to open it. But she was able to turn the doorknob, but there was something inside of this closet that was making it really hard to open, like it was stuck on something. Now,
like
again, Moon is kind of looking around this dark, dingy apartment that's filled with all these wilted roses, and she's feeling super uneasy, but she thought, you know, I just want to feed these cats and just get out of here. And so Moon just grabbed that door handle and yanked as hard as she could, and she managed to pop it open. And for a second, Moon just stared at the inside of the closet, having no idea what she was even looking at.
More expensive, but yet, for some strange reason, the speed acceleration not as great. Oh,
one of the most terrifying places in the entire world is a place called Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. There have been so many unexplained occurrences on this property that government agencies have been sent to this ranch to basically do an investigation, and a lot of what they found is classified. I actually covered the Skinwalker Ranch story early on in my YouTube career, but the reason I covered it is because I watched another video, which was way better than mine, about Skinwalker Ranch, and it was by my favorite YouTube channel by far back then and still today, and that is, of course, Bedtime Stories. Their coverage of Skinwalker Ranch is terrifying. The scene where one of these things is outside the door of this house and they're tapping on the walls, it's like the most unsettling thing I've ever seen on YouTube. And if you don't know this by now, we, Ballin Studios, were lucky enough to secure Bedtime Stories on our roster, and they now produce a weekly podcast where new episodes come out every single Wednesday. But this week, to celebrate Christmas, they're going to be releasing 3 new episodes, and they are all about Skinwalker Ranch. Also, stick around till the end of this video because we're going to play a sneak peek from one of those 3 episodes. It would turn out virtually everything Moon thought she knew about Lee, her boyfriend, was wrong. 5 days earlier, after Moon and Lee had gotten into that horrible fight in the parking garage following the dinner with Moon's parents, Lee had made it seem like he was storming off to go hail a cab and drive home on his own. But in reality, after he stormed off, he waited for Moon to walk away and get a cab on her own, and then Lee just walked right back over to where he had parked his car in the parking garage. He got inside, turned it on, and began driving home. But on his drive home, he actually crashed into a taxi driver. Now, neither Lee nor the taxi driver were harmed in this accident, and both cars were still drivable, but Lee actually had a really big problem with drinking and driving. 9 years earlier, in 2013, when Lee was serving in the military, he was put in military prison for drunk driving. And then after he got out of the military, he was arrested 2 more times for drunk driving in 2018 and 2019. And so even though this accident with the taxi driver was very minor, Lee did not want to go to police and report this accident because if officials got involved, they would see that Lee has this horrible history of drunk driving and he would get in way more trouble. And so Lee convinced the taxi driver to just allow him to pay him privately for the damages in order to avoid getting officials involved. However, the taxi driver, who was open to this, demanded that Lee pay him in cash. He didn't want some sort of deferred payment plan. He wanted to be paid now. And so Lee said, okay, well then let's go to my apartment and I'll just pay you there. However, when the taxi driver and Lee got to Lee's apartment, they got in a fight over how much money Lee actually needed to pay the taxi driver for the damages. And eventually, Lee just kind of snapped and beat the taxi driver to death and then stuffed his body inside of that cleaning closet in his apartment's hallway. And so that's what Moon had seen when she had opened up that closet. She saw the corpse of the taxi driver. And then after Lee had murdered the taxi driver, he stole the taxi driver's credit cards and his cell phone, and Lee would use the taxi driver's credit card to pay for all those lavish dinners and hotel stays and gifts over the next few days as Lee spoiled Moon for Christmas. And also during that time, Lee was using the taxi driver's cell phone to send messages to the taxi driver's family to convince them that he was still alive. Also, Lee went out and bought a whole bunch of bouquets of roses and put them all over his apartment to try to mask the smell of the rotting corpse inside of his closet. But this murder and Lee's horrible drunk driving were not his only secrets. Lee claimed he was from this very wealthy, successful family that owned all these amazing high-rises in South Korea, but that was all a big lie. Lee was not from a very successful family. He did not have any money. He basically just borrowed money from family and friends and then lied about how he acquired the money, claiming he was this big, successful, wealthy guy. Also, when the police in South Korea began investigating the taxi driver's murder, they discovered that Lee's apartment was not even his. It belonged to his ex-girlfriend, who was a bartender in South Korea who was in her 50s. Also, Lee's beloved 3 cats and dog that he talked about all the time, about how much he loved them and cared for them, well, those weren't his either. Those were his ex-girlfriend's. And as police continued their investigation into the murder of this taxi driver, they would eventually find traces of Lee's ex-girlfriend's blood inside of Lee's apartment, so his ex-girlfriend's apartment. And they would discover that Lee had murdered his ex-girlfriend, stolen her apartment, stolen her pets, and even took her cell phone, and to this day had been sending messages to her family to try to convince them that she was still alive, even though nobody had seen her and had no idea what was going on with her. Lee was ultimately arrested for 2 counts of murder, and he would quickly admit that he did kill the taxi driver and his ex-girlfriend. However, by this point, police had located the cell phone of a missing woman amongst Lee's things, and so they became very suspicious that he might have had something to do with this 3rd woman's disappearance. However, to this day, Lee has denied having anything to do with this missing woman, and they still have no idea what happened to her, and so that case is kind of on hold. Despite how totally crazy this whole story sounds, the craziest part actually happened after Lee was arrested. Once Lee's crimes were being talked about all over the news, Lee became totally famous in South Korea because he was exceptionally good looking. On the news, they would play CCTV footage of Lee interacting with that taxi driver before he murdered him, and the only takeaway from lots of people in South Korea was, wow, this guy is so unbelievably attractive, he looks like an actor, not, here's a guy who's about to murder someone. In fact, Lee became so popular in South Korea for being so beautiful that there became a real fear that Lee's ex-girlfriend, Moon, would become a target in some way. That maybe Lee's fans would blame her for putting their beloved Lee in prison and they might try to attack her. However, the police in South Korea did a really good job of masking Moon's identity, and so to this day, we believe she is still safe. And also, for clarity, Moon is actually not her real name. That is a pseudonym that we used to protect her identity as well. In the end, Lee was sentenced to life in prison for those 2 murders.
Look after your horse good. Be damn sure.
One of the most terrifying places in the entire world is Skinwalker Ranch in Utah. And this week, as part of a special Christmas release, Bedtime Stories the podcast, who is part of the Ballin Studios network, is going to be releasing 3 episodes about Skinwalker Ranch. And as promised, here is a sneak peek from one of those episodes. Enjoy.
In the new year, as the spring rains began to lash the ranch, the family would lose even more cattle. But now they began to reappear, sometimes dead from no apparent cause, other times extensively mutilated. The nature of these mutilations was bizarre. Huge chunks of flesh and skin were carved out of the animals, yet there was no blood. The wounds always seemed to be cut with precision instruments, displaying an almost surgical quality rather than the savage tearing of animal predators. The Shermans were feeling the stress caused by these losses. Throughout 1995, the strange activity only intensified. Events took place that were frankly beyond bizarre.
So that's going to do it. If you got something out of today's story, be sure to check out our podcast called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, where we have hundreds more stories, a lot like this one, that are available to listen to right now. But many of them on this podcast are only available on the podcast. They are not on YouTube. Again, that podcast is called the Mr. Ballin Podcast, and it's available on Amazon Music.
Seen quite a few horses coming through with Spaven. Look after your horse good. Be damn sure it'll look after you.
How many more of those ice things do I need to collect in order to continue?
Seen quite a few horses coming through with Spaven. No rush. Keep looking. I'm here when you're ready.
Tamarasubas.
Daddy was a blacksmith, right here in this shop. That's how I got learning it.
No! No!
Used to have a good cobbler across the way. His old lady blew his head clean off. I hear folks say this town is on the skids, but I don't see it. Folks come from all over for
Hell
our
yeah.
services.
Eh, 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 eh. Dun, 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 dun.
Working with animals is better than working with people, sometimes.
Are you done already?
Folks come from all over for our services. Well, take your
Guys,
time.
I'm
Holler
just
when you make a
doing one more
decision.
thing and I'll be back to the very stream.
Look after your horse good. Be damn sure it'll look after you.
Oh, your bucket like fire. That's why.
My daddy was a blacksmith, right here in this shop. That's how I got learning it. Seen quite a few horses coming through with Spaven.
Damn.
Working with animals is better than working with people, sometimes.
How many of those yarn things do I need to crave one hat?
I hear folks say this town is on the skids, but I don't see it.
Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry for why I had okay. So let's see here. Let's go with long. And
My
then
daddy was a blacksmith, right here in this shop. That's how I got learning it. It's all yours.
Why did the umbrella thing not work?
All right, you bet.
Yeah, but you are stupid enough to just talk like that. Like, come on, Paimon only talks like that, and we already know she's dumb.
For nothing, cheating bastard! I ain't hearing no more of this. I won that game fair and square.
Shit, fair and square my ass!
You heard me, fair
Well,
and
why
square.
don't you let your pistol do the talking?
Enjoy the morning, mister.
Your move. Who else wants some? Huh? Who else?
I think I'm supposed to get up there.
So let's see here.
The question is, how do I do it? Oh.
Morning.
There we go, I got a second one. I swear. I wish I could kick her ass. Wait, what the hell?
Yep.
You, whatever do you want?
Mr. Thomas Downs, you owe me money.
Oh, no, I'm...
Pizza's in the oven.
Okay.
You won't find anything
Damn, Zipline
on this
saved me.
property.
We ain't a charity, Mr. Downs.
I'm afraid your trip here has been in vain.
Oh, come here, you maggot.
Please, sir. I'll...
Really? Threaten me, would you?
Please. I have a family, sir. Please.
I don't care about your family. Why'd it have to come to this, huh?
Believe me, sir. I didn't want this either.
You ain't such a do-gooder, are you? If you're running out on debts...
I'm not running anywhere. I'm doing my best for you.
You are a slippery little bastard. But I got you now.
Please, please, show some compassion. Please.
Strauss told me you needed a beating. You saying he was right?
What will that solve?
How's that dent looking now? You borrowed money from my business partner, Herr Strauss. You owe him, you took the money. He wants it back, what's not to understand? Where's our money?
I don't have it.
Sell your place.
We already owe more than it's worth.
Then sell your wife, or your family, or something. We ain't your idea of charity. Is that clear?
Oh, so this is forever.
Thomas!
What are you looking at?
Thomas!
I said, what you looking at, woman?
My husband isn't well. If we could just have more...
Like I said, we ain't nobody's idea of charity. Get us the money.
Wait, what the item ID is really in that green stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ah, how did you get on?
Not so good. He's almost dead. And they seem more or less destitute. You were a fool for lending them the money.
Well, people who aren't desperate don't seem so interested in my propositions.
Of course.
Now see, that green stuff could just be smoke. I don't know what I need to have with me in order to open that.
Put in a good word, would you?
I set a timer on there. The timer should be one of the things to tell you.
No, this.
Oh, that. Oh, that. Yeah, we got it done last night before going to bed.
Oh.
Let's just say that since you only had a certain kind, since you know, let's just say with the certain kind of unused space after the transfer, I moved whatever I thought to move from the secondary drive onto the SSD, so that way basically mostly just have Star Rail or cracked Diablo 4 on the secondary drive, while anything else I could just easily move onto it is on the on the unallocated storage that became the another partition on the SSD. But Windows knows it. But of course, Windows knows when you install things onto that partition that it still considers you installing the games onto the SSD, even if it isn't within the Windows partition. But yes, it should be all good to go.
Mom wants to know if you have uniforms for tomorrow.
Yep.
Talk to them.
Speak.
All my shirts.
Don't
that I
cry,
have.
boy.
I got 2
Speak
more pair of
about your
pants.
gang.
I'll have to have One more pair of pants, I think. That's all.
I can't.
Right now, I'm in
Boy.
pretty good shape.
Whoa, hold your horses there. It seems the cat has got our friend here's tongue. I was thinking Mr. Williamson could have a word.
Ready to talk, boy.
I told you, mister. I told all of you. I don't know nothing.
Oh,
they ain't no
what's this
friends
thing?
of mine. I just been ridden with them for a
All
while.
right,
We heard that part, so how about you tell the truth?
Where there is
That's
no
what you
puzzle,
want
you
to
just
Hurt him, so the next time he opens his mouth, it is to tell us what is going on. Who am I kidding? One of O'Driscoll's boys couldn't open his mouth, but he'd tell a lie. Screw it. Let's just have some fun. Geld him.
Yeah! What's he doing? Where's he going?
Oh, don't worry. You're only balls, boy. Just gonna cause you
So basically everything's just...
You know, in Imperial Rome, eunuchs was among the
Oh, wait.
loyal of courtiers.
No, you're kidding me.
Of course.
Hold on, guys. I have to be right back. Don't mess with, close out of this. Please, I completely close out of it. That's a very software
Oh, thank you.
We're able to, for free, use to clone the SSD that came with your
But
tower, and so that way we
It
can
just
just swap
stays
it
on there.
Basically,
Which one's the on button? Middle?
Yep. So right here is the SSD the tower came with. So
Oh, yeah, I
this is
forgot
your original
control.
one. The 1 terabyte one is of course in there and completely booted as if it's the same exact
This game
thing.
has many functions for you to
Except
just,
of course, like
to
I
just
said,
explore
the
around.
unallocated space that you
This
that
is a very
will
good
What
game
am I
to play.
supposed to
Well,
do
just-
with the old one?
Haven't gone it yet. You
just
can
have
get
it
it
as a
ahead
backup
of
just
time.
in case.
Ow.
Or if you, or of course if you like to get if you like to get a certain closure like GoPro has, you could just turn into additional external storage. If you want to just blank it out and have it as additional storage even more. But for now, it can just be as the backup.
Oh, I see it's actually over here.
See, 12 months only, instead of $79.95, it's $59.95.
Now I have to go all the way back.
Well, for the same price, you get, because of certain deals, I was able to get way more than just, than just one game with that pricing, yesterday.
What do I want a Alistair Drake final figure for?
Yeah, no, no.
I guess some people, Matt buys figurines.
To me, I'm just fine with just, seeing the characters on screen and, just doing a bit of fan stuff with that. I very rarely get any kind of
There we go.
figurines.
Hey, what the?
Is this so wrong?
I'm gonna tell you can touch my new game.
Too bad you can't touch any of mine. They're not physical.
Never asked.
Well, you do got a few Nintendo games. That was on you.
No, I thought. I want to go down here. The big
It's gonna be
parade.
nearly 8 minutes of counting when this thing is done.
But there's owls in this one. Owls in penguin territory? That's something. But then again, it's just the directors arguing, not the species themselves. Hello, my dear good fellow.
Alright guys, I am definitely back.
Bastards! Oh, what do you want from me? Well, you are gonna talk. The only question is now or after we got these little fellas off.
Okay, listen. I know where O'Driscoll's holed up. And you're right. He don't like you any more than you like him. He's at 6 Point Cabin. I'll take you there. Serious. I don't like him. I mean, I like him even less than I like you.
Sure.
Oh, none taken. Okay then, partner.
Conductor's hat.
Why don't you take a few of us up there right now? I got this, Dutch. Should be fun. All right, you. Come on. Let's go. Let's both hope you ain't trying to trick us, O'Driscoll.
I ain't no O'Driscoll.
You sure as shit was. John, Phil, come here. We got a social call needs making. Where we heading?
Up into the hills behind Valentine. Well, I'll show you.
John, you take this little rattlesnake with you. Any nonsense, kill him. You're gonna pay your buddies our respect.
I'm hoping you guys will be able to hear this afterwards, but I'm going to switch from these headphones to my... Skull Candy earbuds. So, I don't mean to cause another wait time, but I just feel to switch to earbuds right now. Mostly just due to the very fact that I wish to make sure, but the port that... Okay, so I did that. Let me just check up on Twitch on my PC at least.
Yeah, I'm thinking junk.
You guys can still hear me in the mic at least, but I'm hoping that it picks up on a different audio source.
Wait, what?
God bless you.
Thank you.
How's that my fault? These assholes are getting in the way.
Tell them to get out of your way. Stay out of the way, Jose. You have to go kill him upstairs.
Okay, guys, I connected my earbuds. I connected my Skull Candy earbuds via Bluetooth.
Oh, I see. I just had to hit them once. Bro, ain't no fucking way.
Let's see here. I'll let the web pages I wish to load up come up when possible. Right now, let's. Hopefully, you guys are able to.
That's what he said.
Actually, that's why instead of switching, I should just went over here. This is your Twitch.
Oh no, a spider had to get in the way, darn spiders. You're just gonna get beat up, you stinking spider, that's all. You wanted in on the pummeling. So you shall receive. Oh, you're a dirty silver servant, huh? Gotta power down people's stuff on them.
What dicks! I hereby resign as conductor of this parade's band because these guys just want to hurt me. I feel I'm endangered.
Hold on, guys. I have to get up and deal with something in reality.
From UFOs, wormholes and crypt.
Can I get away from these abusive people?
To cattle mutilations and poltergeists. A remote property in northern Utah has been described as a Disneyland of paranormal and supernatural phenomena, a case that has turned the heads of even some of the most ardent of skeptics. We recount the tales from Skinwalker Ranch.
See what happens when you allow the band to attack the conductor? I want them to be fucking attacked. Holy shit, these guys.
It has been said that Utah, particularly northern Utah and the Uinta Basin, is one of the most active paranormal and supernatural hotspots on the planet. Everything from unidentified lights in the sky to weird humanoid figures and even Bigfoot have been spotted in the region. It has a long history of high strangeness, accounts which date back to the earliest of human settlements. 3 out of every 4 people in this part of the state have experienced something out of the ordinary, and for many others just passing through, there is a palpable feeling that those dusty roads and bleak landscapes hide something of a dark secret.
It is.
Much of the strange activity is concentrated in and around the basin, but some believe that within that radius there is an epicenter from which all these bizarre phenomena seem to manifest. A beautiful 480-acre ranch situated about 100 miles due east of Salt Lake City. As with any other acreage, it traditionally adopts the name of the current owner, but over time it has come to be known by another. The Utes believe this ranch to be the focal point of a curse placed on them by the Navajo. Tribe members were, and still are, forbidden from setting foot on this land, as they believe it to be in the path of the Skinwalker. For this reason, it became known to the locals as Skinwalker Ranch. Throughout the latter half of the 20th century, Skinwalker Ranch was owned by a family, which has long remained anonymous in this mysterious saga. For reasons unknown, they suddenly and inexplicably vacated the property in 1987, leaving it empty and unattended for more than 7 years. That was until 1994, when it was purchased by Terry and Gwen Sherman. Along with their 2 children, the couple believed that they had found their dream home. The remote property was bordered to the north by a high ridge, which overlooked its sprawling green pastures, wild thickets of woodland, and its flowing creek to the south. The entire estate exuded an almost tranquil beauty that was not lost on the Sherman family. Terry was a high-end cattle breeder, and he hoped that the ranch would provide the space, privacy and security he needed to take what was not only his hobby, but his livelihood to the next level. He had bought the ranch for an extremely favourable price, far less than what it was worth, and when he signed the paperwork, he accepted the deeds with an excited, disbelieving look in his eyes. What he now held in the palm of his hand was his ambition, his prospects, his dream. He could not have known that the land he had just purchased would almost destroy him, not just financially, but also psychologically. When they had first viewed the property, Terry and Gwen had found the main homestead in a state of disrepair, which of course they had anticipated, given the length of time it had stood empty. What they did not expect to find, however, was the sheer amount of deadbolts securing the home, not just on the front and back doors, but on interior doors and all of the windows too. At the front and rear entrances, they also found heavy-duty chains attached to huge metal rungs, which were embedded into the walls. It didn't take a genius to work out that these had been used to chain large, powerful guard dogs in place. Although slightly unsettled by these peculiarities, Terry and Gwen dismissed them, believing that the elderly couple who owned the ranch before them had been paranoid and overprotective. They had seemed rather eccentric after all. In the real estate contract, they had inserted a number of unusual clauses. For instance, the Shermans were not permitted to dig on the land without prior approval from the previous owners. These irregularities were overlooked by the family, but somewhere in the back of Terry's mind, he could not help wondering what had spooked them to the point of installing this level of security. In time, of course, he would come to understand that this idyllic, stunning acreage was haunting in more ways than just its serene beauty, and in fact, the weirdness began almost straight away.
Don't take that out of context.
On the first day of moving in, the Sherman family were unloading a truck in front of their new home when they spotted something on the far side of the pasture to the south. As it closed the distance, they could see that it was a wolf, which was loping gracefully towards them in a series of S-turns. This immediately set Terry on guard, but it wasn't just the presence of the wolf that concerned him. Scaling it against distant fence posts and bushes, he could see that this animal was at least 3 times the size of an average wolf. But its behaviour was oddly disarming. It seemed nonchalant, friendly even, rather than aggressive, slowing down and then stopping about 50 yards away. It sniffed the air and gazed at the family with intelligent, piercing blue eyes before continuing on, casually padding towards them without a care in the world. It seemed entirely tame. It wagged its tail as it approached, and Terry's father, who had been helping unload the truck, bravely reached out to stroke the huge beast. Sherman Sr. stood over 6 feet tall, and even though he was a big man, its head easily came up to the top of his shoulder. It quickly became clear that despite the wolf's intimidating size and appearance, it meant no harm. The rest of the family relaxed and walked over to greet their strange visitor. Maybe it's somebody's pet, Terry ventured, glancing nervously at the corral about 70 feet to his left, and wondering if it had been wise to move some of his herd onto the ranch so soon. Inside of the pen stood 4 of his breeding cows and as many calves. They were all clearly troubled by the wolf's presence, except for one curious youngster, which was...
They knew that I was so good that if I ever went on the outside for the next movie, then the movies would be done fucked. Guys, I am definitely back. I do a little bit, like I said, I do things in reality, but let's see our map. Let's see here. I'm trying to find out where exactly it was store. Let's see your settings. I wonder where the game saves, like, certain shots to. Controls. Oh my. What key item do I need?
Yes, come on.
I'm taking you to him. Look, I'll give you more directions when we're close. But if I know where we are, it's up past Valentine.
All right, I'll leave. Well, come on then.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, girl. Girl?
Okay, can't save the game during the mission, so...
Sharing saddle with an O'Driscoll. Who'd have thought?
How many times I gotta say it? I ain't an O'Driscoll.
You sure look like one, and you smell like... God damn. You smell like one, too.
I smell like horse shit.
That's right. Boy, are you high.
Morgan! You got throwing knives in your saddlebag.
Okay.
Dud said
so the
you
only
might...
way for me to continue ahead in time, on like the movie production, and they had in time, is for me to get a hookshot badge, and I think I might have to get it by going somewhere else. Let's see if I can get it by going over here.
I was asked to give them, and I'm doing you the further courtesy of telling you about it.
Next time you want to give me something, how about you give it to me, instead of hiding it somewhere, hoping the opportunity comes up to mention it?
Last goddamn favor I do you.
Hey, if I got my bearings, it's over here. Yeah, I know this country. Take this track up through the rocks.
Morgan! You didn't tell me what the O'Driscolls smelled like before you asked me to ride with them.
That's because you wasn't asked to ride with us. You was told.
Well, I smell like a stall ain't been cleaned out in a month. I smell like that because you had me tied up there about as long.
You'd be smelling worse if we'd done what someone was arguing for.
Granted. I was in with a bad lot. I'm trying to make amends, if I can.
You don't know the half.
I do know Colm killed Dutch's sweetheart.
And that's the man you chose to ride with. A woman killer.
Well, it was after he'd killed his brother. And the way I understood it,
Making excuses for the man. And his crimes. What kind of trap you leading us into, boy?
I ain't. I'm trying to help, honest.
One thing goes wrong. One thing other than you smelling funny, you're the first O'Driscoll will shoot. And quit breathing on my neck.
Now we go left. Road'll take us up and round. Those are the hills. Head for them.
Save your horses. We gotta climb, boys.
You know, you all ain't that different from the O'Driscolls.
What did you just say?
I've been watching you all these weeks, and,
You've been tied to a tree. You don't know nothing about this game.
Yeah, well, I'd say you don't know much about the O'Driscolls. But maybe I know more about you than you know about them. And I know all about them, so...
Tell us then. How are we like those mongrel dogs?
You're outlawed like them.
Oh.
You're out to survive like them. You live rough. You live hard. Fighting the law. Nature. You're out for yourself.
Wow, Silver Servant used
This is why you're an O'Driscoll,
Damn it!
O'Driscoll.
Balance.
You're out to survive. We're out to live. Free. Colm's a sneak thief and a killer. Dutch is...
3,000.
From where I've been, you just look the same as all.
And you looked, but you ain't...
Why am I not getting onto them? What the fuck is...
Shut that boy up.
Damn.
Enough out of you.
Boys,
Okay, see, that's just bullshit.
we're almost on them. Now, who knows if this son of a bitch we got with us is talking true, but if it's what he says it is,
Power down again.
and
Won't be any
Colm
good. It
O'Driscoll's
was 3,000
here,
the last fight.
we can end years of fighting. Here and now.
Oh,
Amen to that.
Here, here.
I swear, this is where he
Why
was.
didn't you put a fist card on?
Okay, now cut
There's
left
only
up here. We
the,
can go down the hill into the
Dinosaur
forest.
from Azteca card, that's all.
Easy. We're going in
Oh, the big old
taking
ugly
them
guy
out
that shoots,
as we find them.
his spine
Trying
dish.
not to
Oh,
set
that
things
on
off.
that death
If we
spell.
do,
Alright, let's go.
we move quick and
No,
hard.
it just gave 3,000
Settle this like
damage.
we know how,
He
okay?
put a fist on the thing, Austin.
Okay by me.
Blade, and he had a
With
bigger
you, Morgan.
25 on me.
All right then.
Through the trees here.
Okay, yeah, just throw some things on there, will you? Here, how about if we whack him with my wine, dude?
Wait.
Hey,
Makes that
we're real
fire.
close.
Nope.
I'd
The
leave your
poison
horses the other
kills the
side
other
of this
one.
clearing.
Just the poison from
I'll
that
get my
smoke
guns
kills
off my horse,
a whole
and I'm
silver
ready.
servant.
Easy, Bill. Quiet.
I need to make
And
sure
I got
that...
260 damage
Yeah,
the
so
whole
it
time.
is... Okay, I thought for a second that...
260.
Yeah, so my tower just needs to update on... Like, re-update on the stream.
This is it. The cabin's just the other side of this hill.
Okay. Off your horses. Let's go.
You gonna get them knives?
I said easy.
Alright, back to the
That was on
back
accident.
to the-
Follow me, all right? It ain't far.
We might have shared a horse, but we ain't friends. Remember,
Bye, dumbass spider.
every moment.
I ain't gonna stop
Disgusting
you now.
vermin.
Come on. It'd be suicide. You'll die, boy. But you'll lose your balls first. Jesus Christ. Come on.
Okay, get down.
So I think this is the exit.
Cabin's in the
and
clearing
then
down
I
there.
can get something over this way.
There'll be a bunch of fellers hiding out there too.
Are these fellas armed?
Armed, drunk, wary of strangers, yup.
And Colm O'Driscoll?
He'll be holed up in his cabin. Be passed out, booze blind, likely as
Oh,
not.
interesting.
Over there. Someone's coming.
So, who's gonna tell him we ain't got
What?
Oh, let me think.
I'm Captain here. Oh, no.
I'm gonna drain it. I'll catch up.
No,
Hey,
we ain't gonna fall for that. We're gonna wait so you can tell him yourself.
Damn, that's an insta-bomb.
If anyone's actually gonna shoot the messenger,
Y'all get
it'd be
that
that
mugshot
son of a
badge.
bitch. Yes, sir. Come on, shake it off.
What are we doing about the pisser, Morgan? One by the tree.
Oh, we're gonna be fucking Spider-Man up in the house. Hot damn, yeah. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web on his eye.
which was sticking its head out between the metal bars, watching the scene unfold. Almost as soon as Terry had realised the danger, the wolf had bounded across the short distance, and now had its huge jaws clamped around the calf's head. The young cow bleated and thrashed wildly as the wolf tried to drag it out of the pen. Terry grabbed an axe handle from the back of his...
They're free. That's Crown Shop, dude. And then you stitch a hat to it that has stats, and then you're all set to go. I stitched one to it that had a bunch of balance blocking. That's why he only gave me 260 damage. That's blocking everything. 21 blocking.
It's your ways to withstand possible cheating.
How am I supposed to escape?
his truck and rushed over, beating the huge animal's flanks and kicking at its hind legs, but the wolf paid no attention and refused to let go. "Get my magnum," he shouted. His son ran across to the truck, grabbed a .357 from the cabin and handed it to his father. Terry quickly fired a shot at the wolf's abdomen, which rang out across the empty pasture, but it had no effect. The huge animal did not react in any way. It did not stagger or yelp. It did not even flinch. It simply continued to ravage the poor calf. In his desperation, Terry fired again. Still, the gun had no effect. After a third shot, however, the wolf slowly released its grip and backed off about 10 feet. The rancher could not believe his eyes. Very few animals could have survived 3 shots from a .357 Magnum at point-blank range, but this wolf was somehow not even wounded. There was no blood anywhere on its coat. Finally, he took a 4th shot, right at the animal's heart, and it retreated another 30 feet. There was something incredibly unnerving about the way it just stood there with an unconcerned look, contemplating whether to attack the calf a second time. Terry sensed this and shouted at his son to get his .30-06 rifle from the house, which he did within a matter of seconds. The wolf remained perfectly still as he took aim with the heavier firearm, and he almost felt sorry for the poor beast. A deafening shot echoed across the wilderness as he pulled the trigger, and in that moment he knew he'd hit his target. But instead of collapsing to the ground in a heap as it should have done, the wolf simply withdrew another 2 yards and stood looking at an increasingly unsettled Terry. He quickly took another shot, and this time he saw a chunk of flesh detached from the animal, but even this did not put it down. The wolf took a last unhurried look at the calf, then turned and trotted back in the direction it came from. Terry was dumbfounded. He knew he could not allow a large predator to remain on his land if he intended to breed cattle, so he called to his teenage son, and the two of them proceeded to go after it. They must have followed the wolf for about half an hour, catching glimpses of it as it ran to the south between patches of cottonwoods and other trees. The tracks led them through a copse of Russian olives, the other side of which was the creek, and emerging from the trees, they found themselves on a wide open mud bank. They could clearly see the wolf's paw prints and immediately began to follow them, but the tracks abruptly stopped about 40 yards from the water's edge. Terry and his son could not believe their eyes. They were standing in a wide open expanse of sodden mud, yet the paw prints ended right in the middle of the bank. The wolf would have had to have leapt an impossible 40 or 50 yards in either direction to avoid leaving any more tracks. It had seemingly vanished into thin air. Returning to the homestead, Terry happened to pick up the piece of flesh that had detached from the animal. He noted that, rather than being fresh and covered in blood, it looked and smelled rotten, as though it had been left out in the sun for a few days. In quiet contemplation, he turned his head south and looked out over the pasture towards the horizon, wondering what on earth had just happened. That was the first day. The next few weeks were relatively normal, except for a few strange occurrences which happened around the homestead, all targeted towards Gwen. She didn't report any of these things to her husband at first, as she genuinely thought she was losing her mind. For instance, she would come home from shopping, unpack the groceries and put them away, and then leave the room to attend to something else. Moments later, she would return to the kitchen and find the groceries all back in the bags, as if she had never unpacked them. In other occurrences, she would go to have her customary morning shower. Locking the door behind her, she would place her towel and hairbrush on the side. When she finished, she would step out of the shower only to find her towel and hairbrush missing. They would disappear. A few hours later she would find them in some random location elsewhere in the house. Things continued like this for some time, and Gwen was getting increasingly worried about her memory. That was until Terry came in one evening, demanding to know who had taken his post digger. He had been using it to repair a fence in the pasture, and had turned away for a few moments. When he turned back, it had gone. Gwen explained that she and the children had been in the house all evening, and proceeded to help him search for it. However, it was nowhere to be seen. A few weeks later, it was found hanging in a tree on the other side of the ranch, 70 feet off the ground, which was odd considering that this piece of equipment weighed over 70 pounds. By this time, the Shermans were beginning to suspect that something was not quite right about the property they had bought.
Yes, indeed.
About a week before they rediscovered the post digger, a nephew came to stay with them, and Terry decided to take the youngster on a tour of the ranch. His son also accompanied them, and it was well after sunset when they decided to return to the homestead. A few hundred yards ahead, Terry noticed a set of headlights moving along a distant fence line, well within the boundaries of his property. He had seen these lights before, and had assumed that someone had taken a wrong turn off the road to the east, but now, seeing them again, he suspected that these people, whoever they were hunting on his land without permission. He decided that he would confront them, and immediately began marching in their direction. But as he picked up the pace, the lights began to move away from him. His brisk walk turned into a jog, and as the boys followed suit, he began to wonder why there was no engine sound. They had gotten to within 100 yards, when the lights suddenly lifted off the ground and floated up over some distant treetops. Terry and the boys stopped dead in their tracks, shocked by what they were seeing. The lights silently continued on their course before disappearing out of sight. During the autumn, these lights became a frequent occurrence, especially as Terry began transporting his prized Simmental and Angus cattle onto the ranch. The activity seemed to escalate with the arrival of his high-end livestock, and this is when things started to turn serious. As the winter months rolled in, severe snowstorms battered the region, and Terry found himself out at all hours, rounding up cattle that had wandered too far astray. One late evening, he was out on horseback, searching for one of his prize Angus cows that had been missing for almost 24 hours. He had covered the whole ranch, except for a dense area of woodland to the southwest, which he was now heading towards. As he approached the large outcropping of trees, he was relieved to see the unmistakable impressions of hoof prints in the deep snow, and he now knew that it was only a matter of time before he located the animal. He paused briefly as he considered the tracks. From the spacing, he determined that she had been running at full tilt as she had entered the tree line. This was odd behaviour for a cow, especially during a snowstorm, unless she had been running from something. But what? Although it was unlikely for a predator to be hunting during this weather, it wasn't impossible, but he could see only one set of tracks. He followed the hoofprints for 20 yards into the trees, and soon reached a wide clearing. The tracks continued out into the middle of the open space, and then stopped dead. The cow was nowhere to be seen. A cold chill ran down his spine as he recalled how the wolf's tracks had stopped in a similar fashion, as if the animal had disappeared, or had been sucked up into the air. He searched for a while longer, but began to lose hope. In the end, he turned back towards the homestead with a heavy heart. The only thing Terry loved more than his cattle was his family, and to lose a single cow or bull was not only financially devastating, it was also heartbreaking. He had a profound sense of pride in the breeding and rearing of each of his animals. Over the course of the winter, 4 more of his prized cows and bulls would disappear in similar fashion. Terry began to spend many nights outdoors, sticking to the shadows and creeping around his property like a spectre, trying to get the drop on who was taking his cattle. Unfortunately for him, whoever or whatever it was always seemed to be 2 steps ahead. The lights seen on his land were now commonplace, but he could only ever view them from a distance, never up close. No matter how silently he tried to creep towards them, they would simply move away as if they knew he was there. But then, in the early hours of one morning, after yet another fruitless night, he was making his way back towards the homestead, when a movement in the periphery of his vision suddenly caught his attention. To his utter shock, he saw a black mass hovering over the ground about 100 yards to his left, silhouetted against the pale white snow. Immediately he hunkered down and quietly observed the strange object as it moved across the land. To his eyes, it looked like a slightly smaller, snub-nosed version of the F-117 Nighthawk. However, he knew that it couldn't have been an F-117, because this thing was completely quiet, floating about 20 feet off the ground as if defying gravity. Coloured light shone from its hull, flitting over the snow as if it was searching for something. Terry was able to observe it for around 15 minutes as it made its way over to the west before turning back and heading east again. Sitting still in the cold, Terry's arms were beginning to go numb, and as he stretched his limbs, his joints...
Colm O'Driscoll. He ain't here. You set us up. Come here!
What?
You set us up.
No, I didn't.
You did. Colm O'Driscoll ain't here!
He was here, I swear! If I was setting you up, I wouldn't have saved your life.
It's a good point, Arthur. All right, then,
This
go
guy's
on.
gonna
Get out
piss
of
me
here.
off.
Hey, I won't kill you.
I didn't set you up.
Get lost.
Get lost.
I'm letting you run away. Now go on. Get out of here.
That's as good as killing me. Out there, without you, Colm O'Driscoll's gonna lose his mind about this.
So?
So I'm one of you now.
Give me a break.
So
All right,
that's
then.
how.
But I'm warning you.
Oh, hey.
No, we're not.
Come on, let's get to camp.
Spider-Man!
The cash then?
Spider-Man!
Cash.
Does
Yeah,
where the
usually some
fucking
cash.
spider can?
Chimney.
I'll check it. Rest of you boys, get to camp quick.
See, Arthur? I ain't so bad.
Hey, Bill.
Why would you do that
You
to
tell
me?
Dutch old Kieran ain't worth killing. Just yet. Right you are.
I gotta search this cabin.
Did I miss something? Oh, hate this part so much. But okay, at least I know how to get through this. Okay. That's dumb. Yes, I know, your boss is a psychopath.
Man, I had no clue such as gun oil that could help clean guns. Let's see here. Look at that.
Spider-Man! Spider-Man! Does whatever a spider can.
Here, what? Okay, so this is a long arm shoulder. Okay, long arm back carbine shooter. Let's see here, those kind of stats. Let's see here, damage, range.
I hate that last level.
Okay, so range is up.
Badly.
Oh, so I'm kind of okay with just dropping the bow and arrow. You know, be more
you did
load
to
up
show
with
my channel, but I'm
guns.
also gonna make it so hard for you to even try to.
Now we're
prevent it from
literally onto the
exploding.
teeth.
I make up
could
your
just ditch the
motherfucking
bow,
mind,
roll it here.
dumbass.
Okay, so it wants me to search out the place more.
At least you got something tucked away.
So yeah, I'm thinking of just leaving the bow there and just have my pistol and these two guns. Wait a minute.
I keep forgetting there's a chain right there.
May as well clean this place out as much as I can. Ooh, it's saying that. Oh, okay, so there's some more money left on the floor. A buck. $1 back then could actually help you more than it does today. I know it's very sad.
I hate you so much. Screw you.
Huh? What crime reported? What
Fuck
kind
you.
of crime is reported? There's no one else around. Let me just get to my. Let me just get to my.
Well, that sound again.
Get
I'll
out
be,
of here.
I'll be rooting for him instead.
Wanted unknown suspect.
Come on, girl. Yeah.
Get ready to drop it.
Let's see here. Okay, so we have lawmen, but we gotta wait when they're enough. So for some reason, lawmen were just randomly patrolling and came across what we just did. Okay, so right there's Valentine, so we did something that was more up north. Right, we set up camp at, I guess, a place called The Heart. For some odd reason, there's a... So yeah, before I start my next mission, I'll be right next by my horse. That way, because I was thinking, guys, of saving and taking a little bit of a break, and I'll be then right back to this.
Just finish off the
Oh
story
man, our
right
mission's
here.
locked off while we're wanted.
Right, no way.
Hey there. Easy, it's okay. Yeah.
Oh no, 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 no. I'm not going to deal with wolves right now.
Of course. I mean,
whoa now.
both of them are gonna be smug about it.
Yeah.
Oh great, because of those wolves, we were kind of rushing past a snake. Unless I can do a save right here, like, I'd rather just like get nearby where a mission is, and then save right there.
You know I can strangle you right now. Yeah, if you ever see me again, you're dead. Literally. I'll fucking slaughter you.
Hello there.
Bro, what? What? Ooh, the plot thickens. Oh, she's so cute. Look at the pictures of her. Aren't they
These
adorable?
days ain't short.
Anyways, we'll be continuing more with the first and second
Back
row next
off.
time I
I don't
play
want the
this.
company.
This could be next week.
Yep.
Anyways, later on I'll be playing the new Star Wars update, so I'll see y'all later on. And yeah, I shall see y'all Ladies and Elemental Nation later on in the Star Wars update. And add Asha out of this
You
song.
could have raided me.
Can she just stop staring off randomly?
My legs all numb. Please hurry.
Hold on.
Well, aren't you going to help? Oh, yes. Yes, just lift as hard as you can. Oh, thank you. Thank you, you saved me. Oh, that was bad.
Okay. Sure.
Hey.
I could have been stuck here and starved or eaten. Oh, you poor, dumb animal. Oh. What'll I tell Mildred? Well, thank you.
You need a ride home, ma'am?
Oh, yes, mister, please. Thank you. Do you know Valentine? I live there.
No problem.
We'll need to go on a horse. My leg can't handle the walk.
Yeah, but you missing to be able to get onto.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, well, I can a little bit reroute if I'm just, you know, having to help a lady that's in, I guess, distress here.
I don't normally travel this far alone, you know. I was off inquiring about a possible new line of work. I'd borrowed a friend's horse for the trip. See, my husband... Well, it's just me and my boy now, and it's hard to find work.
I'm sure it is.
A good opportunity. That's what I'm looking for. Not much work for a woman with a boy to raise. I won't work in no saloon, but I've got sharp eyes and quick hands. I was hoping to get a job working as a seamstress. A wealthy man said he'd pay me for the work.
Sounds promising. Also doesn't sound real.
Oh, you may be right, I suppose. He said he'd provide room and board for me and for my child. He wanted to meet me first.
I'd be careful with offers like that, ma'am.
I can't afford to dismiss offers like these, even if they do seem... odd.
Just be careful is all I'm saying.
I may not have another opportunity like this. Now I'll have to pay Mildred back for her horse.
Yeah, it sure sounds like you're in a hard position.
You finding me is the only good thing that's happened to me in a long while, sir.
Oh, guys, I'm only pausing because because my brother's stream recently got finished with, I'm gonna be swapping to overlooking my stream. Excuse me. Oh, there, Bill Probel. What? Definitely, what's up? So Bolt Pro, if you want, let's just say Bolt Pro is about to pause and.
We're close now. Just a little further.
So Bolt Pro, are you wanting to stick around and see Red Dead Redemption 2? Because I think it would also be kind of up your alley or the Mafia to do, because this takes place even before the Mafia, in a time period before the Mafia games. It may not be the same exact universe and all that, but still takes place in times before even vehicles. Well, actually, in Red Dead 2, you do see some vehicles, and in the first Red Dead.
We're here. Thank you for
But of
all
course,
your help.
the vehicles are in their beginning
You're a good
phases.
man.
Glad I was able to
And as well, in this game, it's totally up to you for you to use a bow and arrow. I'm just choosing to have, you know, pistols and guns. But yes, you can in fact go for more bow and arrow approach.
You alright?
Not too good.
Life ain't always
here, huh? Come on. Give a fella a nickel. Give me a dime. Give me something.
So what do you think of this game, Ball Pro? Is it
You looking for trouble?
very real looking?
At least you got some cow sense in you. Give a fella a nickel.
See, right? Was she dropped off here?
Someone, come on. Move. Read all about it. Pay attention.
I'm just trying to see what I want randomly went just let's see. I'm pretty much good with what I have, so I don't really have a need to stick with them now.
Okay, girl.
So let's just get out of this town.
Got some kind of rock in your boot?
Hold on. Let me look at the chat to see, because I have literally seen something on my phone. Okay, let's see here. It looks cool. What is Sleeping Dog? Volpro, do you want me to do Sleeping Dogs? I can save right now and swap games. Of course, I had to change up the title and all that, but I've been mostly doing Red Dead Redemption 2. But if you want to see what Sleeping Dogs is about, let me just do a manual save. Volpro, you still around? Because I don't want to switch games and find out that you're not still around. Are you still around, Volpro? Okay, I just saved. Let me just exit out of this.